It is Saturday morning and somebody just arrived to pick up our guest room furniture. We have a pretty big project planned for this room later today, but I'll catch you up on that once all the furniture is out. You may think you're looking at a white screen, but it's actually my empty room. We just got rid of all of the furniture that was previously in here. Danny is freaking out. She has no idea what to do with all this new space. But today, our plan is to DIY some really high wainscoting in this room. This is our guest bedroom. We have really high 12-foot ceilings throughout our house, and especially in this room with the super white walls, we've never put anything on them. It's always felt like such a waste. And so I think that adding some trim work can be a great way to sort of add some interest to the space and inject a bit of character into the space itself without having to rely on sort of trappings that I put on top. So that's the plan. I'm going to play around with measurements a little bit more, and then my husband and I are gonna go get some lumber and some tools, and we'll see what happens. I have no idea what I'm doing. We're also playing around with some paint samples. We have these colors on the wall in here, as well as in our master bedroom. We're thinking this color here, Coventry Gray, for our master bedroom, but we are undecided in here. We've got these sort of neutral colors on the wall, and then we were also thinking about maybe a dark green, but now my husband isn't so sure about the super dark green, so we shall see. Someone is having a whale of a time climbing all over everything. Are you frozen, Boo? What are you looking at? Are you looking at the cord? I don't know. Anyway, I have been messing around with Illustrator, creating a couple of scale models using either 16 or 20-inch spacing, and I have some versions with just vertical paneling and some versions with an extra horizontal bar thrown in to create more of a grid system. And I think we're going to go with this one. We're going to use the existing studs, which are roughly 16 or 17 inches spaced, and I masking taped or painter's taped that up on the wall, so it will look something like this, multiplied everywhere. Danny. Is it your reflection? Oh my God. And we're back. Just kidding, it's actually day 2. Yesterday we went to Home Depot, and instead of getting furring strips, which was the material most recommended by the DIY blogs I found, we decided to go with MDF instead, which was the second most recommended material. The furring strips and other pre-cut lumber tend to have the edges cut off, and in order to match the little bit of existing trim work we have in here, we wanted straight edges, so we got 5 boards of MDF, and Home Depot cut it down enough for us to transport it in our cars to a friend's house who had a table saw where we could make the rest of the cuts. So now hopefully we have all of the lumber that we need for this project. We also borrowed our friend's miter saw. Thank God we didn't have to buy our own. I think this is pretty expensive. And the level came in the mail this morning, so we are ready to get started. Pro tip, laser levels are awesome, and you can use power tools inside if you just connect them to a vacuum. First casualty of the project, Stanley, our tape measure, died. All right, it is now 7:30. I think we started working around 1:30 or 2, so it's been a long day and we don't have a whole lot to show for it. We have attached the top board to the wall all the way around the room's perimeter. We will have one extra little trim piece on top, but we will save that for last. And we just started attaching the vertical boards And for the first boards, the horizontal boards, we nailed those into studs because we want it to be secure, but the vertical boards we aren't putting on studs, at least not always, because we are spacing them out to create the kind of scale that we want in this room. And so there's not always a stud and it's not always secure. There are 3 nails in this vertical board and I can just go pull it off the wall. So we need to go find some liquid nails. Plain nails and drywall alone is not going to cut it. We are now back from the store and we have started applying the boards again with just liquid nails. It's kind of late already, and in our neighborhood the houses are close together, and so we don't want to keep disturbing our neighbors, so we might just switch to this method entirely. It's really helping us pick up the pace, and we just got the normal liquid nails paneling stuff. It was super cheap. If you stick this to the board and stick the board to the wall and then remove it and then leave it there for a minute, let it start drying, and then re-adhere it to where you originally put it, it's supposed to stick faster and stay that way. So that's what we're experimenting with. 1025, 1026, 1027, 1028, 1029. It's now 11 o'clock and we are calling it quits for the night. This is what we were able to accomplish so far. We decided to stop here because we need to borrow a jigsaw in order to cut the next board so it can fit around that outlet. So we're going to wait and we will continue in the morning, but I'm happy with everything so far, and I think we're going to hopefully wrap this project up over the next couple of days. Oh my God, everything hurts. My ribs hurt. I don't know why. Every part of me is sore. That's fun. And we have a ton still left to do. It's great. Okay, a couple of pro tips in case you want to do this yourself. Number 1, get a laser level. We got one by Skill. And it works just fine. It was on Amazon and I think it was about 60 bucks. It has come in a lot of handy. And second tip is to pre-cut whatever horizontal boards, if you're going to do a sort of board in between like we are doing here. Pre-cut whatever size you want between all of your vertical boards and then use pieces of scrap wood to space it out to see how your wall is going to lay out and where you might have any issues or where you might need jigsaws or something specialized to cut around existing equipment. We now have one completed wall here. And this wall is almost finished. Over here in this last little section, we were going to have to make the horizontal board considerably longer than the other ones that we have going on elsewhere in the room. And so to alleviate that a little bit, we decided to put a vertical board starting here on this wall. And we also used one of the little 1x2 trim pieces to just give it a little more weight so that that vertical bar will not be longer or not be noticeably longer than the other pieces. And we had to cut around this one outlet that has interfered so far with the jigsaw, and we are on our way. I don't even know what day it is, but we are finally finished. All of the board and batten, including that extra little strip across the top, is finally up. Actually, we finished a while ago, and my husband and I have been using the excess wood to make little holders for corrugated cat scratcher cardboard things. Hopefully Danny and Norman will be pleased. It's day, who even cares, and we are caulking. All right, all of the board and batten is up, everything is caulked, everything is sealed. It's time for paint. Good morning. It is today, actually, or it's at least whatever day I am posting this. And The room is finished, the walls are finished, the wainscoting is finished, and I think it looks so great. We actually finished a little while ago, but I didn't get to film much of the painting process because I wanted to stay out of the way. But everything is now, all of the outlets, for example, are now installed. Everything is clean, and this is the finished product. We ended up going with a color called Boreal for the top part of the wall above the wainscoting. It's a Behr color, and it's significantly lighter than the greens we were originally considering, but given the sort of limited natural light in this space, there's only one window way over here in this corner. So given the amount of natural light that's in this space, and we don't usually use artificial light except for at nighttime in here, it ends up having more of that sort of mid-tone to a darker green feel that I was going for. And the wainscoting and all of the existing trim work that was in this room that we ended up keeping, like the baseboards and the little bit of framing we have around the doors, were just painted Behr off-the-shelf white, which I think is called Ultra Pure White. And I'll list all of the finishes and all that good stuff in the description, but I think it turned out super well. We also installed a new light fixture. The old fixture that we had kind of like a mason jar light on it, which I wasn't happy with, and I think this complements the space a lot better. And a few days ago, we installed these cellular shades that can open from both the top and the bottom, and I really like how you can sort of put it at the same height as the wainscoting, and it almost a little bit blends in. It's at least sympathetic to what's going on in this room. So I was afraid, because we were doing this ourselves, we were originally quoted $1,700 by a professional to do this, and so we decided to do it ourselves, and I was a little bit worried that it would look crafty, but fortunately we were able to borrow a friend's tools, and that really helped out and saved us a ton of money, I'm sure. But I am just so impressed with the finished result. I think it gives the room itself a lot of character. There's not much furniture in here. There are just a few things tucked in here temporarily, but even on its own, the room already has so much character and personality. So if you're looking for a way to inject personality into a room itself without having to rely on a lot of furniture or a lot of decor pieces, there's really a ton that you can do with some paint and trim. That said, we would like to furnish this space, so I'm gonna wrap this video up here, and my husband and I are going to go shopping. But if you're on the fence about doing this yourself, if you're thinking about doing this in one of your own spaces, then I hope us sharing our experience of this little home project can give you some tips and tricks to help you out on your own. That's gonna be it for me today. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.